Good morning. Today's February 26th and is absolutely the most beautiful day since last fall. All right, like the first real day of spring. It's going to be in the 50s today. It's going to be beautiful out. So today's the day I've chosen to fire harden two bows. This is a black locust bow that you saw in my video that I laid up on a backset jig. And I came in the house, I heated it up. I guess I didn't heat it up enough with the heat gun. And I was in the house walking around. It was on a table on cardboard in my dining room. And I hear pop. And I go, Pop, what was that? And I look around and a riser popped up. So a lot of people say, okay, this is garbage. It's garbage. It comes down into where the limb would be a little bit. But I mixed up AE40 and I put it in the crack, both sides with a toothpick. I made sure I got it in pretty good. I have two clamps on this side and one clamp in the middle, trying to compress it. And I'm going to fire harden this today. And a lot of guys say, well, that's toast. That's done. That's garbage. Could be firewood. But my idea is, once I fire harden this, and it conforms to the jig a little better, when I'm done, I take it off. Even if this splits, I could cut this off and add a handle on, depending on how bad it is. But I'm hoping that 2 hours of cooking this and it'll conform to the jig. Over here I have a 66-inch red oak bow that was a living tree weeks ago. And my friend Chris, a couple of weeks ago, cut it into a big slab, a big hunk of wood. And yesterday, I split it. And you can see how I remove, the video is how I remove winter bark and cambium with the steamer, okay? So this one here, I didn't steam long enough because I ran out of water. And when I went to peel it up, I had some violations, some tears. So I took this down and with a thickness planer, because I'm old and I look for an easy way out a little bit until I got it nice and smooth. Then I took the draw knife to chase a ring, and I think I got it. So this is 66-inch red oak, and this is going to be fire hardened today. The difference between these two jigs is this: I made some super fast hickory bows. It's a little bit more aggressive. Bend on this, we got like almost a 3-inch, I would say, bend on this. And this here has only 1-inch backset. And I made this for the juniper bow I made for my son's girlfriend, Abby. And I says, a lot of times you see guys fire harden the bows. They make a bow and it's a nice straight stave. They're making a bow and they just lay it on top of cinder blocks to fire harden it, okay? They fire harden the belly. The belly's the part that faces your belly, okay? That's this part here. So they just fire harden straight ones. So this has a 1-inch backset, slight little 1-inch backset, and I'm going to cook this today. This is going to be the second cook with the 1-inch backset. I never fire hardened red oak, so it's a first for me. This is my fire hardening gutter system, which consists of a $59 grill, I believe it was $12 piece of gutter that I have, and the gutter's adjustable. You could look on my videos and see how I made it, and it's held together with a clamp for the length. I went to clean this out, and it's been so cold it was frozen. The coal inside was wet and it froze to this gutter. But I want to show you how easy it is to clean up. Okay, so what we do is watch. Rip it here. You save the coal bags, right? Put the coal bag in. Of course, once the coals die out, like a day or two later. But look how easy this is, you see? Okay, we're done. That's it. Put it in the bag. Save the bags. Okay, I'll set it up and we'll start. I always put the jig. This is going to be the longer bow. I just put this on because this is an expandable gutter. I have a slot and it's expandable. This way I make sure that the ends of the bow will be covered by the coals. And I put a liner of tin foil and I fold at the end. I make an end. I fold it up. So I fold it up like this here, so the coals can catch and don't spill out. And I fill in that lining, so I have a lining. Then inside that lining, I just crumble up foil and I lay it down. This way air gets in and it's able to breathe around, and I can lay the coals. And two important things that you need are fireplace gloves, the big black fireplace gloves, and a stick. And if there's any hot spots, you're able to push down the coals a little in that crumbled up foil. And now I'm going to take the jig off, put coals, light it up, and hopefully we'll get started. I'm going to fire harden that cracked black locust first, and this will be the second one. The two important things that you need, once again, are these big fireplace gloves and a stick. The fireplace gloves are necessary because once that bow is hot, wood combust at around 300 degrees. There's some woods, I believe, have a lower combustion rate, but anyway, when you're cooking these woods and they're drying out and they're under high heat, if you were to drop it and touch the coals, you could have spontaneous combustion and your bow could go up like a matchstick. So if it slips off one of the screws or something, if you have a setup like mine, and you have your gloves on, it's no big deal. You just grab it and pick it up. Okay, so two important things. Now that it's getting warmer out and the sun's, getting hotter, we're doing more stuff outside. Wear a hat. I had skin cancer. Luckily, it was basal cell and they removed it and there was no problem. It was on my back. And but just wear a hat, and then you'll see me during the summer when it's really hot. I'll have a big pop-up tent out here, and that'll help keep the sun off of me. Just be careful. So now that I have this jig on, you can see this is the one with the big back set. We want to keep the coals low by the riser and have them tape it up towards the end. You want them built up a little bit more at the end here. But you do want to get the fade outs. Okay, so that's where the stick comes in handy. Now these coals aren't totally caught, but once they are, I have it up a little higher, kind of drying out, cooking, and in 10 minutes I'm going to put it down. Time isn't important, but it usually takes me 2 hours to do a complete fire hardening, because I want to make sure that wood's cooked totally. And 2 hours seems to be the magic time as far as, watching it, checking the heat. Okay, we got a 9:15 start time, and this is how you check the heat for the right level. You take your palm of your hand, you go right under the limb, and you go 1, 2, 3, and you shouldn't be able to hold your hand there. So I lowered it, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let me get the stick. It's a little hot here. Okay, it's a little hot here. We can push the coals down a little bit. Move them over a little bit. See, that's what's good about the crumbled up foil. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Keith Shannon from Shannon Outdoors came up with that. You put your palm right underneath the limb, and you should be able to hold it for a 1, 2, 3 count and want to pull your hand away. Everybody's a little different, but that's the best way to gauge how high you want to have the wood for the heat, the right heat. Wood combusts at 300 degrees about, Some woods, like I would say juniper and pine. I had to watch that juniper because it kept smoking. All right, you see how the smoke's coming off the coals? While you're doing this process, make sure there's no smoke coming off the limb. If you see smoke coming off the limb, lift it up a little bit, okay? And I actually have a spray bottle just in case. I haven't used a spray bottle yet, but I have it just in case, okay? And that's the best way. You can't measure from here to the coals because wind, temperature of the air, everything changes the height, okay? There's no wind now. It's calm. It's warm. It's going to be in the 50s today. It's a little higher than normal, and it's working out. It has the right heat. So those are the few things that I want to share with you. Make sure that these are tight. I tightened these there, 3 here. You can see the scuff marks. I tightened these actually with a ply to keep them, that crack from splitting. Like I said, I don't care what happens. I can always cut this off at the end and put a handle on. But as you go along, like here, as it gets hot, you'll be able to hand tighten. That's all you want to do, hand tighten these clamps. You see it's going already. See, a couple turns already. It's been on there for like 5 minutes. And you want to snug up the clamps, and the stick is good for, you have coals with ash, you knock the ash off every once in a while. Okay, I check this every 10 minutes underneath to make sure. I'll just pick it up and take a little peek. We'll come back in about a half an hour on the video, and I'll show you the slight changes in a half hour. It's been a half hour. I'm going to put this jig up higher, and I'll show you what it looks like underneath, and then we're going to knock off ashes and add coals. Take your stick. Don't be afraid to mix up the coals while you got this up. Like I said, this is about the half hour mark. Actually, about 35 minutes. Well, we're going to knock this off. Just want to show you, don't be, you could be a little aggressive. You want to make sure that the ashes are off. Lay it out. Okay, I'm going to stop it here, put coals in, and I'll show you what underneath looks like. Okay, here we are from the riser, heading to the right, and you can see the black color going all the way down. Here we are at the riser going down to the left, and black locust turns, the color of the wood turns more black. When you're doing hickory, it turns like a dark brown and black. Okay, so that was about 35 minutes, and what we're going to do is put coals on. I'll show you when I put the coals on, and then we're going to get cooking again. Okay, we got some coals on. We're going to let them catch a little bit. This way we could distinguish between what's smoking the coals or the bow blank, you know. So we're going to let it go for a while. If you want, put the gloves on. You could remove that, put a little lighter fluid on, get it going quicker again. If you have very little coals, you could do that just to get a little jump start on it. It's been going for an hour, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, from the center of the riser, we have some color going on in the fade outs all the way to the end here. We got color to the end of the limb. Okay, from the center of the riser, going out, we have color in the fade out. Going all the way down, a little less color in the tip over here. I'll build up some coals. Looking good, coming along. Okay, this has been going for about an hour. I'm going to put it up. I'm going to show you what it looks like underneath. And then I'm going to put it back down and let it go just for a little bit more, and then we'll take it off and I'll show you on the table. And then we're going to cook that red oak bow and see how that comes out. Okay, here we are from the riser after an hour. Got color in the fade outs going down. Okay, we got color going to the tips. Here we are from the fade out going to the left. We got color in the fade out. And we have light color in the tips. Okay, my longtime friend, Jim Zanicki, he's a JOAD coach. He was at the JOAD program when I started to help out. What are you, a level 3 instructor now?
Level 3 USA coach, actually, and we've been running the JOAD program. It's JOAD is short, actually short for Junior Olympic Archery Development, and we're based out of both Yaphank and Patchogue, and we teach all sorts of ages from say 8 years old until 108 years old. So anybody wants to look into us, you can reach us at smithpointjoad@gmail.com. And I thank Joe for inviting me over here. See his great work over here, and we're discussing his nice work in firing up this wood over a nice cup of coffee.
So it's good seeing you, Jim. And I had a great time teaching the kids with him many years ago.
Absolutely.
And now all these young kids that I taught, they're all adults. That's how long ago it was.
They're adults. Some of them are married with their own kids, and it's really great. And some of them they come back.
So it's nice that he keeps up with the tradition, and he's keeping the program alive. And myself, I help out like at Peconic River. I help teach the 4-H kids, and I'm running a little introductory to traditional archery class. I'm going to do it for a couple of months, the first Wednesday of the month, for members only at that club. And before 8 o'clock, I was filled up. We had to stop it, but it's good. You know, I'm always willing to share and teach people archery, get them to it. It's a great sport. Great sport. It's addictive, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's great for the mindset. It's great for relaxation. It's great for concentration. The kids, sometimes many kids have trouble with concentrating at school or even at home or whatnot. So it's great for concentration as well.
Yeah, they got to get focused to put it on. They got to do everything right. They got to focus on what they're doing to hit the target. So and I look at it as therapy for me. You see me doing all these bows and things. It's therapy. It really is.
It is therapy. It's both for the adults and for children. And not only that, but even though if you don't hit the target, what you're doing is actually teaching kids the correct way of shooting. It's concentration, it's the form, it's everything.
Yeah, a lot of focus. It's really good for everybody involved. It really is. So I just wanted to, since Jim's here, I wanted him to mention the program. And even in your state or wherever it is, I'm sure you have JOAD programs. And you look into them. It's great to get your kids involved in archery. Right?
Again, JOAD is short for Junior Olympic Archery Development, JOAD.
Yep.
Joe, great seeing you.
Yeah. So thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
I'm going to take this off. I'm going to show you what it looks like underneath, and then I'm going to put it on for a little longer, and then you'll see it on the table, you know, finishing up. But I'm going to show you what it looks like right now. And then the bottom of the riser, we have color in the fade outs, going down to the end. Coming over to the riser again. We have color in the fade out, going down to the tips. It looks good. So I'm going to put it down, and I'm just going to let it cook for another 20 minutes and then put it on the table, only because I want that riser to conform to the bend because of that crack I had. And then I'm going to put the red oak. Okay, we have it on the table cooling off, and we're going to get ready to fire harden the red oak, and I'll show you shortly. Getting ready for round 2, red oak. First time fire hardening red oak. We got it on, and we got a 12:35 start time. Coals are really hot. I got a double thick layer of coals. I'm gonna put this up 1 notch here. And knock some coals away from the middle with that stick. Get them closer to the fade out. Got to always lower the coals. You don't want to burn the riser handle. So always lower. Okay. I'm going to monitor it. I'll show you what it looks like in a half hour. Let it cool. We're going to take off the clamps. And this has been cooking a little longer because I wanted to make sure that that bent riser kind of conformed a little bit to the jig, all right? So I'm going to take it off and see what it looks like. As long as I cook this with all that pressure I had on the riser, we have a little spring back. Still have a lot of back set. Okay. A lot of back set. Like I said, this jig is a little more aggressive and it works good on the hickory. I get a lot of aggressive back set that works, makes fast bows. I think I need for, I have my red oak cooking, that only has 1 inch of back set on it. So maybe for other woods than hickory, I need a little less aggressive back set. But this is the riser that I heard pop and cracked open, okay? And I glued it. Show you the glue line carefully. I managed to get AE40 inside with the toothpick because I put pressure and opened it up again. I let it, I clamped it really good. You can see the depressions of the clamps, okay? I wanted it to conform to the jig and bend, and hopefully it'll be okay. So some people think it's firewood, and I'm kind of thinking I'll get a bow out of it. So this one here will be interesting to see what happens to it. And it'll have horn tips with string grooves cut out, and you'll see me put it on the tillering tree. And that's when we'll see if it holds out. If it makes a bow or makes firewood. But I don't like to give up on things so easily, and I believe there's a good chance I can make a nice bow out of this. We'll see. Okay, so we're done with the black locust. Now we're going to go back to the red oak and monitor that. When I cut this and remove the bark, this had 15% moisture in it. Overnight in my house with the hot air heat, it got down to 8. So I had it up for a while drying it, and it's like 10 to 1 now. And now I'm going to get serious about the fire hardening. I want it to dry up a little bit before I actually put it down. A little hot. Okay, I think we're good. So like I said, it's 10 to 1. I'll show you in about a half hour, but I'm going to be checking it in between. But I'm going to show you in a half hour what it looks like. Okay, we got some steam escaping from the end of the limb. The rest of it looks good. Okay, it's had a little bit more than a half hour. Some of it was high, but it's had about a half hour of cooking. And we're going to put this up to see if we get any coloration in the wood. See how the heat's penetrating. So I'm going to stop it here, raise it, and I'll show you. Okay, very interesting. The red oak has a lighter color. It's cooking. Going all the way down. We got some color though. All the way down to the end. Got light, and we're going to put a little more heat by the fade outs. Going over to the left now. We got some heat in the fade outs. Going to go down, cooked all the way down to the end of the limbs. It's looking good. It's looking good. Going to put some more coals on, and we're going to see if we get a little more color on it. Okay, this has been going for a little more than an hour now, and I'm going to raise it and show you what it looks like. Okay, from the riser down, we got a little color in the fade outs now. Going down, I moved the clamps. That's why there's the white spot to the right. All the way down to the end by the tips. Then we got from the fade out again. We got a little color there in that fade out. We're going to go down to the tip. And we got color in the tip. Once again, I'm going to knock down the coals. And I don't think I have to put any on. I'm just going to knock the ash down. And we're going to lower it and cook it. And I'll show you in another half hour. a talk with an experienced bowyer a while back, and he said he had it was a white oak bow that was fire hardened years ago, and it was okay. It was a so-so performer, and then he refire hardened it a couple of years later, and it just made it a better bow. So I'm going to just take my time with this. Like I said, I'm not worried so much about the time. And if I have to cook this a little longer, I'm going to cook it a little longer. But I'm going to check it another half hour, which will be an hour, 2 hours, and we'll assess the situation then. But I just that stuck in my head that sometimes a little longer fire hardening might do the trick. And that happened to be an oak species that my friend was talking to me about. All right, a little while longer, and we'll check it. It's been 2 hours. I'm going to let it go for another 15 minutes. Then I'm going to take it off, and I'll show you on the table what it looks like. This is red oak. White oak has a tighter grain, and they use like white oak for barrels, for making wine, probably whiskey, I would say. And from what I understand, boats and stuff too. But the red oak has a little more open grain. When I first started, I made a red oak board bow, and it came out really good, and it shot well. So I think this is going to be a fine bow when I get done. Okay, it's time. It's coming off. It's been on for a little over 2 hours, 2 hours and 20 minutes or so. And I'll show you when I have it on the table. Okay, it's done. We're going to let it cool, and I'll unclamp it, and I'll show you what it looks like. I hope it got fire hardened enough. Even though there's only 1 inch back set, this red oak conformed nicely to the jig. No spring back, it held. You can see that slight 1 inch back set, which is very nice on this here. Let me show you the limbs. From the tip to the fade out to the tip, it's going to be a nice bow. It really is. Okay, let me show you what I do with these bows now. Now that you fire harden them, you got to put moisture back in them. Okay, here's a wet rag, look, and I mean dripping. Okay, don't be afraid. You got to do this a couple of times to this. You got to rehydrate this wood. This reads absolutely 0 on my moisture meter. So what we got to do is do this a few times throughout the evening. We're going to put some wood in. We're going to put some water in here and hydrate it. I won't be tillering this for a couple of days. We're going to have rain all day tomorrow, which is good because I need a break. I've been doing a lot. Okay, very happy with it. I think it's going to make a beautiful bow. As long as we're careful tillering it, I think we're going to be good. Let me show you again. Here's the black locust with the crack in it that I glued with AE40 and fire hardened. Soaking wet rag. See the water running off? Don't be afraid. You got to hydrate these bows. You got to get moisture back in these things. Okay. I have a few other projects I got to do, so I'm done for now. This is the end of this video. I made 2 nice fire hardened bows. The black locust with the crack. We will see once we tiller it if it holds up. Okay. So thanks for watching. Every day you get up is a good day. Make the best of it. Make a bow. Go out and shoot. Thanks for watching. Okay, go to Shannon Outdoors for more information on fire hardening and get his fire hardening CD. Definitely worth the money. And it's a great video. Thanks for watching.